21st century learning environments enable students to really reach their full potential. Now, the way that happens is that students today are doing different activities. They're engaged in collaborating with each other, working on projects together, and creating meaning out of what they work on. So whereas the teacher might lecture sometimes, the teacher is now circulating among the students and helping them in groups and individually as they create their own meaning. Now, environmentally, what we do is we create spaces that allow collaboration to occur, allow people to communicate their ideas either to each other or in presentations, to build projects. Physically, that means taking areas and creating special areas that it's easier to do a project where you're using your hands or building or drawing than it might be in a classroom when you have desks and rows. Also, we respond by providing furniture for the kids that allow them to be comfortable, because you learn best when you're comfortable. Another aspect of that is the fact that in today's environment, the environment is very important. So we try to connect the inside of buildings with the outside of buildings to give kids an appreciation of the environment that they're in and give them access so that if their learning takes them from the inside of the school to the outside of the school, they have easy access to be able to do that. But really, communication is what it's about, and that's true in school. So communication, collaboration, creative thinking is very important, and critical thinking is important to understand how we see something. Is it real information? So when we think of those things, they're commonly referred to as the 4 C's. How does that translate into physical space? Well, if you look at schools and if you're memorizing facts and you're listening to a lecturer, a classroom is perfect for that. But if you're doing other kinds of activities like trying to make sense of things, you want to use a computer. If you're collaborating, you probably want to do that in a small group. You might want acoustical isolation for that. You might want to work on a project in order to figure out how something works and be engaged. And a classroom is only a component of the kinds of spaces that you need in order to have that make sense. We use a process that we call a Genesis Charette, where our designers and the client come together to brainstorm what the design should be. That process allows us to sort of look at all the factors that might affect the school, its community, 21st century learning, and by that we, in a day-long process, come up with a lot of ideas from which we can depart from for the design of the school. The site of Cherry Crest is a very pristine woodland. It's a beautiful site with mature trees. And so a big challenge was figuring out how to nestle a school that was twice the size of the previous school on this site without sort of destroying the ambiance of this beautiful, beautiful natural setting. We really understood very quickly that we wanted to bring the experience of the site into the building. The way we did that was by using a lot of glass, lots of windows, so that from really any place in this school, you can look up and see the forest. You see birds flying. You see sun glinting through the through the shadows of the forest. You see the understory of the forest. So you really feel like you're in a forest, and you feel like it's a wonderful learning experience from that standpoint. It allows a lot of daylight to enter the space and come deeply into the space, which helps to create an environment that students and teachers enjoy. Daylighting is a very important component of allowing kids to feel good, and some studies are showing that it even is helpful of test scores, but if nothing else, it keeps kids more alert, more engaged in the studies, and that's important for 21st century learning and really for all learning. When we look at the surfaces we select for a school, we want things that are going to last a long time, but if they do get damaged, we want to either be able to repair them or replace them. So medium density fiberboard is one example of that. Laminates that we use on casework and on doors are very durable, so we rarely have to replace those, and they last a long time. So if you do need that, or you do need to reface cabinets, it's a good way to refresh them is by having new surfaces that are relaminated, and it really brightens them up. In order for 21st century learning to be enabled by the school environment, the environment has to look at what activities are happening that's different than a normal school. So how we made the surrounding environment come into the school, be visible from all parts of the school, use materials from that environment on the interior of the school are all techniques we use to help students to question, well, why is this environment the way it is? Why should I care about this? By stimulating that questioning, that's sort of part of the 21st century learning process, getting kids to own their education, to be interested for the sake of being interested, not because they have to do it. And the physical environment can help that kind of questioning, can really help teachers to get to the kids and make them interested in what they're learning.